Good day, everybody, and welcome to the Ben and Boz Microsoft Excel video tutorial series. I'm Boz.
I'm Ben.
What's up, man?
It's a good day today. We're rolling through these things.
We are rolling. We are all the way up to a lesson 11 out of 12. We're seeing the finish line. These things have been fun, but they've also been long.
We're getting technical, and I like that. I enjoy that.
Right. Today, we are going to use a statement of cash flows to illustrate a few different tools, and the goals of this one is we are going to use the sum if function. It's a way that you can basically total up some cells which have certain criteria. Sometimes we do that with a pivot table. You're going to see why it might work a little bit better to use the sum if function today. We're also going to learn how to repeat actions, open new worksheets, open the formatting window. Also, we're going to learn how to paste special values instead of formulas.
That one just sounds complicated. I'm excited for that one.
Yeah.
All right, so specifically sum if, we're going to use the equals sum if function. How to repeat, it's pretty quick, just F4, that's all we need to do. Special values, we got a little bit of a longer stream, but we'll talk you through how that works. And then these other ones, Control 1 or Alt Shift and F1. Again, getting a little bit longer here, a few more arguments with the sum if, but we can handle it. We're at lesson 11.
I think we can do it. So what we have on that template tab here is just a sample balance sheet, and we're going to use it to create a statement of cash flows.
Yeah, so the first thing I'm going to do, cash and cash equivalents. I see now it's $49.50. It was $2,000. So just set a simple function there. And
Cash went up by that amount.
Up by $29.50, and we know that should be our ending balance, statement of cash flows. Exactly. That should be our change, I should say.
That's right.
Then all these ones in accounts receivable, my pattern that I'm going to set, which we're not going to go through this in detail. We have a PowerPoint series about statement of cash flows. And instead I'm just going to show you the pattern where with accounts receivable, it was $2,000. It went up to 500, which means we're going to have a negative 500 on our statement.
Equals beginning balance minus ending balance. Anytime an asset goes up, except for cash, we generally think of that as a cash outflow.
Yep, and it applies to all our assets. So Control C, and then I just shift down and hit Enter. Boz doesn't like that one, so I'll let him talk me through the next one.
But you're going to let me do it.
On our current liabilities. Nice. We're going to do
equals ending minus beginning here.
Switch it up. Okay, so I got one set. What do I do now?
Now shift and then down arrow key through your equity accounts. Now Control D. There's one keystroke and you're all done.
So, look at that.
That's right. Now these are the cash flows associated with the assets, liabilities, and equity. Again, we're not talking about the theory. Go to our PowerPoint series if you want to know that. Today is just Excel.
All right, so now that we have done the amounts, we need to categorize all of these into their different sections. And the way we have this thing set up
we skip cash because that's going to be the amount we prove out.
Yep, and I could just type anything I want, hit OK, and that is a section.
It's not, Ben. We need it to say operating, investing, or financing. And I actually don't even trust that you could spell operating correctly. So
that's a little sharp today.
It is. So I think I want to involve some data validation here. And we've taught them that before, but it can be a quick refresher.
Yeah, so one thing that we want to do is make sure we highlight the entire range where we want to have the data validation.
Very important.
I have some extra cells in here that we wouldn't need to have in, but that's okay. We can just leave those in. And what we're going to do, you're probably on your Home tab right away. Click on the Data ribbon on top, and then under the Data Tools piece of that ribbon, you see you're going to have one called Data Validation.
And sometimes I'll actually just say the words depending upon the version of Excel you're using. It's nice when it does that. But here, if you hover, you see it.
Exactly. So if you click the drop down there, select Data Validation. And what we're going to want to do, we don't want to allow just any value. We let me do that, and Boz told me I don't know how to spell operating. So instead, we're only going to allow values from a list that we decide. So we're going to click on the list one, and then our source, where is it coming from? This is where...
Click in that box then, yep.
This one, yeah. And I could say and just type it myself.
But again, you'd probably misspell them.
I guess I would misspell them. And I'm just going to highlight these three, operating, investing, and financing. Those are the options. Hit Enter, which will be okay. And now, if I click under accounts receivable, I see operating, investing, or financing.
Yep.
I'm going to go with operating.
Gotcha. A little review of something we taught them before. But now that you got the first one in, inventory, you don't have to hit that drop-down box. It's a little slower. Just type O. And then when you go to, and even lowercase, you hit Enter. It's pretty smart. Now, I don't think in long-term investments you can hit I here. You kind of need to select it the first time. So escape out of that box. Hit escape a couple times. And now, drop down and hit investing. But now that you go down to it the next time, now just type I. Whoa. Let's see if you can do this on your own down in the liability section.
Accumulated depreciation. operating.
Good work.
Did it. I'm just going to skip these two. I don't need to worry about those.
That's a good plan.
Accounts payable, operating, accrued salaries, operating. Now I'm just hitting it once. I'm feeling good. Long-term debt, financing.
That's nice. It popped in. It didn't do that for investing.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why, but
maybe it's smart learning. Excel's just learning as we go.
Ooh, good
I don't
point.
know.
Call
I
up
don't
Bill
know.
Gates and ask him.
Bill,
Bill,
what's going
up?
on? This one's not financing. Retained earnings, it's just net income here, no dividends.
Yeah,
so
we're
we're
going
going
to
to
simple
put it in
example.
operating.
Yep, just saying the
Yep.
change in retained earnings is net
All right.
income.
Can I do some if because it's one of my favorites?
Yes, you may.
All
So
right,
I like
awesome.
it too. I still remember where I was when I learned that one. So I was down in Phoenix, Arizona. This was back in 1997. But apparently it's your favorite, so go ahead.
You know, that's great for that touching story. Thanks for using our time to tell us that.
That's right.
It's 5 seconds I'm never going to get back.
Sorry, man.
All right. So when I'm doing a sum if statement equals sum if, and you see it pop up, I'm going to hit tab to select it. If you prefer using the formula builder, you can absolutely do that. Remember, you just click on that FX. It gives you more description over all the different pieces. But I'm just going to use my little prompts that I see down here by the mouse where I have range, criteria, and sum range. So first thing I need to do is the range. This thing is asking me, where do I want this function to look? That is the key.
For the criteria.
For our criteria, which we haven't chose yet. But I want it to change based on my section. So I'm going to go to the section, do a little Control-Shift till I have the exact thing that I want. And I'm going to use F4 to lock down that range. So I can shift my sum if formula and still have it look at the same range. All right. So now I know where I'm telling Excel to look. The second argument is, what am I telling Excel to look for, the criteria? And this one is over in E16.
So right arrow over.
Yep, and you see E16 pops up when you do that, and it says operating.
Yep.
So
And don't lock that down with an F4.
no, because we want to shift this one down, so the next time where it says investing, remember I can move this little box here. So when I do the next one, I want it to pull from investing. So do not lock this one down. And so what have I done so far? I'm telling Excel to look for whatever's in E16 in this range that I've locked down. So then the next thing is, okay, once it finds the word operating for this first one, what do I want it to do? Well, I want it to sum whatever is over in this category here, D3 through D14, and that's our dollar amount. And so I hit F4 to make sure I lock down that range so that doesn't change. And then I could close the parentheses, or I could just hit enter, and it does it for me.
That's perfect. So yeah, and that works good. And now that you've got that one done once, you can just drag it down for investing and financing. So Ben will do a Control D. You actually did Control C enter, but I just made
But you didn't even notice.
I did because I watched you. Drove me crazy. So.
Well, we've talked about it longer than it took me to do.
That's
So, and then I'm also going to do a total one here just so that I have a little bit of a check figure and I can see operating, investing, financing, 2950 is the total. That equals our cash and cash equivalents total change.
Cool. Now go put it in the statement of cash flows format. So go over there
Alright.
to column
Let's
N
do
probably.
N for this one, yeah. My net income, usually we'll have net income. We're just going to do the change in retained earnings for this case. Depreciation, that's going to be my change in accumulated depreciation. Accounts receivable, I can link over to accounts receivable, inventory. I think they're starting to get the pattern, don't you, Boz?
Yep. Ben's just basically linking to the appropriate accounts right here, just an equals, and going to click on the other account. Going to sum up cash flows from operating activities with an alt equals, and when you do that, it grabbed the cells that we're touching. So you notice that Ben adjusted his range to include that net income and depreciation. And then just linking over to sales of investments, equals, link over to purchase of equipment, and alt equals to sum up those cash flows and financing. Now he's just linking over to the long-term debt, linking over to the stock issuance, alt equals. And now change in cash.
Alt equals won't work very well for this one.
No, it won't.
So I'll add up my operating activities plus my investing activities plus my financing activities. 2950. Hey, look at that. I got 2950 here.
Yep.
2950 here. 2950
Whoa.
here. I must have included everything. Maybe we messed up some of our categories, but at least we included it all.
Hopefully we're right, and if not, at least we're consistently wrong. So,
beginning cash we have over here, which is $2,000. So if I add those two together, I have 4950. Boz, I think we're done.
About the only thing, looks pretty good. One quick point I want to make is that, the reason you did the sum if was just to kind of verify that then when you pulled them over into the actual statement of cash flows that the amounts agreed, so operating, investing, and financing we can look over here and like, yeah, we put the amounts in the right place. Now, we're close to done, except...
I thought we just did it because you want to reminisce about Phoenix
about
in 1997.
Phoenix, that's truly the reason.
Our viewers might not even be born at that time.
I wasn't even born then. But anyway, so the one change we want to make is that it's not very pretty right now. It'd be nice to have commas in this data. So let's go ahead and do, and we've done some of this before, but let's do a Control A to highlight the whole sheet. And if you were on some of the data when we did that, you might have had to do Control A a couple times, do it twice. Now, we could go just click on the comma, which is in the Home tab. We could go find a comma in the decreased decimal, but instead of doing that, let's hit Control 1.
Control 1.
Yeah, it opens the formula window here. Now go click number. All right, now go check the box that says use the $1,000 separator. And
I like the commas.
Yes, definitely. And then decimal place is 0. And then enter to OK. Now it looks pretty with the exception if you go up to cell B1 and C1, the dates have
not
changed.
so pretty.
They are not. So highlight them both. And guess what, Ben? How can we change them really quickly, do you think? What are you going to do?
I think I'm going to navigate up here.
No!
Click on the drop down and go to short.
No.
No, that's not it. Is it Alt F1?
No, Control 1.
It's Control 1?
Control 1.
All right, well, third time. That's what I was going to guess, I promise.
And then you go to the date. You just go right to the date. It pops up and you click OK.
Boom.
Party.
There we go.
That's right.
That's good.
So this is close to being done, but it would be nice to actually just paste this into a new sheet, maybe if we wanted just to print this out. I mean, we
don't show all of our work on the side. We just want to focus on the statement of cash flows.
And I mean, you know, you could just select the print area. There's some ways to do it, but we just want to show you this trick too.
All right.
So let's just put this onto a new sheet. Ben, so
right.
just go ahead to open up a new sheet on this one. All right. Is that Alt Shift? Let's go back to the instructions. Is this an Alt Shift 1, Alt Shift F1 right here? Alt Shift F1.
There you go. Do you use this one a lot?
Not obviously not. So, but
no, that's all right.
Look,
that's all right. I don't use this one a ton either, but you know, if you are creating a lot of new sheets, Alt Shift F1 would make sense for it.
Yep.
So on this one, we have our new sheet open, right? Alt Shift F1 gets us there. And then on our template, I can just go ahead and highlight everything that I had. I'm just doing the Control and Shift until I have everything that I want.
You can do your Control C, Control V thing here.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Control C. Control V, are you setting
No. Don't just do Control V. Don't do it, man. Oh, you did it. It's got all errors.
Man, you got a career in Hollywood.
That's because if you go to what is that, F1, there's formulas in there, and now it's linking to something that doesn't exist.
It's linking to equals hashtag reference.
Have to paste special values here.
Okay.
So Control Z that one to get out of this one. And now one way to do it, go to A1 and right click. I think our copy is still alive, isn't it?
Yep.
Paste special
values. Look at that. There we go. These are just all the different ways. Before, when we had the formulas, they're all linked to our worksheet. And so now we're just going to go just with the values that all that pops up. And there we go.
And if you want the shortcut for that one, Control Z this one, undo it, Ben. And then, right click in A1 just to make sure. Okay, now do Control Alt V.
Control Alt V.
And then type V. It brings it down to the values. Now hit enter.
Yeah, and just in case you didn't see that, it was at all, and then it went down to values. You can also do that with the arrow keys if you want.
Hit enter, and it's good. So, now our formatting went away, unfortunately.
Oh, no, I wish we had a fast way to do that.
Control 1.
Control 1, not Control Alt 1?
No.
Control 1.
That's right.
Number. Hit this one for use 1,000 separators, so we get the commas. Drop down 0 decimal places.
Okay.
I moved to click OK. I should have just hit enter.
Gotcha.
And there we go. It's back.
It's almost good, except go to cell F7 for me.
Yeah.
I've got my newer glasses on so I can actually read the cell numbers.
Nice.
Today.
They look good.
That's what happened last time. But I want to put a border right there. Now, we've done borders before, so go to the border.
But I'm going to show you the hotkey way of doing this, where you do Alt, H, and then B for the border. And I want a bottom border, so O. Alt H B O for the bottom border. That's a bonus.
Bonus. If you don't like the hotkeys, there it is, but whatever's good. Now, the next couple places that we would obviously want that would be right before cash flows from investing activities. Instead of going back and doing one of those again, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't. Hit F4. It repeats your previous action.
Look at that.
Go down to the financing activities area. Hit F4, Ben. All right, now go down to right after beginning cash. What are you going to do?
Alt H.
No,
I'm going to hit F4.
Yeah.
I'm going to hit F4. There we go. It works.
Right. Woo. Let's go back to the instructions. Did we cover everything we said we were going to do?
We did a new worksheet.
We did.
We opened the format cells, Control 1.
We did.
We pasted special values,
We
Control
did.
Alt V V.
We did.
We repeated our action with F4 and we did a sum if.
We get out it all.
That was pretty good.
That was awesome.
Good work, sir.
Come back next time, everyone, for lesson 12, and we'll teach you some more skills.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.